And on this channel, we do a variety of sessions. Some of the sessions are flows that you can just go straight into at home. Other ones are, very specific sequences that we've been practicing in the studio. But other sequences and videos that I do as well are specifically learning videos more than actual class sequence. And those learning videos are something that help you to practice your technique. Because very often when you're practicing yoga in large group classes, and some of the classes maybe are 20 plus, and some of my classes are 40 students in London, and if you haven't been practicing yoga for very long and you're a little bit shy, if you like, you might go to the back of the class. Lots of people do when they think that the teacher can't see them. And what happens is that you can't really see the teacher properly. You are looking at the people next to you, and for all you know, they might be total beginners as well. Maybe they can't see the teacher properly either, and you're both looking at each other and picking up the technique from each other, and which very often isn't the correct technique. And this can go on for ages and ages, even for years. You can be practicing a vinyasa sequence which you think, oh yeah, I've got this, I've been doing it for ages, but it's not the right technique. And I'm telling you that from my own experience, because there are some techniques that it took 10 years I was doing it incorrectly because no one ever told me how to do it correctly. No one ever showed me technique. And I don't want you to wait 10 years to refine your technique, and that's why I'm doing these videos. So what we're going to do today, and we've been practicing this a lot in the studios this week, is the vinyasa technique. Now the vinyasa technique, when the teacher says do a vinyasa, what that very often means, it's 3 separate postures. It's a plank, so you go from a plank, then you lower it down to hover in a chaturanga, dandasana, and then you come through that to an upward facing dog. It's 3 separate asanas. But what mostly happens when practicing wrong technique, or even when you've got the right technique but you're rushing through it, why rush? This is yoga. There is no space for rushing in the yoga shala. I am not a fan of those speedy up. I'm not a fan of speeding anything up. I like to take everything at moderate pace. And this helps me to be really in whatever I'm doing. And that is the practice of yoga. And to really feel what I'm doing and to understand the purpose of what I'm doing, to practice with purpose. And all of those things, rushing doesn't work for me at all in any of those things. So if you're a rushing kind of student, maybe this isn't the channel for you. If you're someone who really wants to learn and to improve their yoga asana practice, then this is for you. Let's get going. So starting off with cat and cow. Now, cat and cow, for some of you, you might have even done that hundreds of times, maybe even thousands of times. But have you got the correct technique? Or are you just moving around and waiting for the teacher to say, right, let's go ahead and do some of the fancy stuff now? Because it seems quite simple. And it is simple. This is the beauty of it. This is the beauty of most yoga practice. And the yoga practice that you're going to learn from me is that it's very simple. And like all things, simple when you know how, I hear you say. So let's begin in tabletop. So tabletop, the knees are underneath the hips and the shoulders, elbows and wrists are stacked like this. It's not this or even this. I see this a lot where the lower back is dropped. It's this, where the lower back is long and you're looking directly down at the mat, the index fingers pointing to 12 o'clock. And a lot of classes don't take the time to really focus in on this. And then when you're inhaling, the diaphragm lowers, the ribs expand, I relax the tummy, I rotate the arm, and I'm drawing the chest through. And then when I exhale, the diaphragm lifts, the navel's drawn in, I'm walking up the spine, I'm rotating the arms, and the chin comes in nice and tight into the chest. Again, inhaling, diaphragm lowers, tummy relax, ribs expand, drawing the chest through, stretching the whole of the front of the body, and then going the opposite way. Diaphragm lifts, navel's drawn in as you fully exhale, chin into chest. Let's continue that twice more. Diaphragm lowers, tummy relaxes, ribs expand, draw the chest through. Exhaling, diaphragm lifts, so you're moving. Navel's drawn in, arms rotate, chin into chest, fully exhale, and then fully inhale. Diaphragm lowers, tummy relax, ribs expand, draw the chest through, and then back to tabletop. Yeah? You can get so much out of doing that. I recommend doing that every single day. Every single day. Now we're going to come into the vinyasa sequence. So you're going to extend the right leg back. You push through the heel. But what you're not doing is leaning back. You're just directly stretching the leg back, pushing through the heel. So the leg gets longer and the muscles all start to wake up. But the front of the body feels like it's getting longer as well as you stabilize there without leaning into the arms, so that you're not doing this kind of thing. The arms are still nice and long and the whole thing is very light. Then you lift the leg, point the foot, so the foot isn't going out to the side, it's directly back and the hips are level and the foot is pointing in. And again, nice long front, and then extend the left arm forward and stabilize there. So I'm really engaged. If you were to come and touch that leg, you'd be like, wow, those muscles are solid. Extend that arm forward, breathing there. Let's take 5 breaths. 1. Inhale fully, exhale fully. 2, 3, 4, and on 5, hand down, knee down, other side, left leg back. So when you're doing these kind of training technique drills, there's an element of patience that's required to get the form of it right. Push through the heel, activate the muscles, level the hips, lift the leg off, point the foot. To really point the foot back, the legs get long. And again, I'm not doing this. Nice long front, looking down, nice long arms, nice long extended leg, and then right arm forward. Breathing there. 1, 2, 3, keep using these muscles. 4, and then on 5, hand down, knee down. Let's do a set of cat and cow. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. You want to be able to feel each beat of your spine move. Exhale. And then back to tabletop. We're going to extend the right leg back again, push through the heel. And then we're going to extend the left back with it, and we're in plank. So again, in plank, the legs are very steady, the arms are long, knees down. Keep that tail up, keep the tail up nice and high. Rotate the arms, bend the elbows back, and you're going to bring the chin in between the hands. Stick the tail up. Slide the legs back, relax the legs, and then use the arms underneath the shoulders to come into cobra. Arms are bent, and then you're going to look to the left and then to the right. See if you can loosen off your cobra a little bit, so you become a little bit more cobra-like. and that the buttocks, the glute muscles and the legs are relaxed, and then stop wriggling. Inhale, exhale, bum to heels, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Now downward facing dog, same thing. If you're too far back with the feet and you feel like you're kind of tottering on the mount of your feet, you tend to be leaning down a little bit into the wrists. Set your feet a little bit further forward so that you have a sense, even if the heels are not down, that they're traveling that way, so that the weight is going away from the wrists and towards the heels. And the head is in between the biceps so that you're able to broaden across the shoulders. Inhale, exhale, flow forward to plank. Let's do the 8 limb, knees down again. Keep the tail up, rotate the arms, bend them, chin in between the hands. Slide the legs back, inhale, cobra. Exhale, bum to heels, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. We're going to do that one more time. Inhale, forward to plank, knees down, chin in between the hands, slide the legs back, cobra. Exhale, bum to heels, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. One more. Inhale, high, flow forward, bend the knees. So you're taking your time to really focus on form, chin down, high cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathing there, 1, 2, and this time we're going to come through to plank. And then I'm just going to bring my knees down first. I'm going to turn around and face you, because I want to explain some of the things that goes wrong when you're doing the vinyasa sequence. First of all, when you're like this, the hands are down. When you're lowering down and the elbows do this, do that now with me, do that. There's such a strain and a sprain on the wrist there, the outside of that wrist. And there's also a limit. You can't go very far, you're going to be doing this. And with those elbows, tends to have a collapsed back. You can see the shape, because I'm so heavily into my wrist. And I'm also grinding my shoulders. It's so painful on these shoulders doing that. So you're going like this and you're grinding here. It's absolutely awful. And yet it's very, very common. So we want to disintegrate that way of moving. So our arms, rather than going like this, they're going to rotate first in that shoulder socket, and they're going to bend back to this. So essentially you're doing this, bit like a press up, yeah, rather than that. So it's press up arms, elbows back against the ribs like this. So essentially you're doing this, rather than that. And also the other thing, I'm just going to put my knees down to help to show, and you can join me by putting your knees down. When you bend those elbows, you want the shoulder to go in front of the hand, so you're doing that, but not the head tipping down, not at an angle. You're bending the elbows back so the head goes forward, so you can feel there, I'm using my arms, I'm using my muscles, and I'm not grinding my shoulders. So let's have a look at what that looks like in the plank position. Plank, bending the elbows back. Let's not go down too far first. Over the toes, upward facing dog. Back over the toes, downward facing dog. Now you'll notice there that I'm rolling over my toes together, and I'm not rolling over the toes going left, and right, because when I'm doing that, I'm twisting the hips. So I'm rolling over the toes together, and then back of the toes together. Softening the knees, downward facing dog. So let's do that a couple of times together. Fully exhale, inhale, flow to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. One more time. Inhale fully, exhale fully. Inhale, flow forward, lower, up, back. Fantastic. Come down onto the knees again. Take a breather. Inhale fully, exhale fully. It's a lot of effort, but you can feel that this has a strengthening effect. So it's the kind of effort that you go, ooh, as opposed to, on those shoulders, yeah? And so from there, let's do it one more time, and we'll go up to downward facing dog, and then we'll flow forward. We'll put it in another layered context. So plank, chaturanga, lower, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. And from that downward facing dog, we're going to step the left foot forward. So when you're stepping that foot forward, what often happens, and what some of my students say to me is, I can't get my foot forward. I can only get it to here. But you can see in this position, my tail's very high. So when you're coming to get the foot forward, you want to get nice and low. Look how low the tail is. And then the other foot steps forward, and I'm going to fold. Let's shake that off, those shoulders. And then slowly rolling with the tail pointing down, the knees stacking above the ankles, the hips stacking above the knees, so that you come all the way up to stand. And when you're standing up there, everything's stacked above each other. Knees are stacked above the ankles, hips are stacked above the knees, and shoulders are stacked above the hips. So that you're neither doing that kind of thing and exaggerating, or that. Tadasana, nice and long, and extend the fingers. Then we're going to step back with that right foot. Step back with the right foot, and you're in a lunge position. Lunge position, the feet are always facing forward, yeah? That is not, you don't turn the back heel when you're in a lunge position, open up the hips. Lunge, hips are facing forward. See if you can again straighten the back leg, power back through the back heel, and then bend the leg and hover it off the ground. Take the hands onto hips. Straighten the leg, bend the leg, but you bring the leg underneath the hips. So what you're not doing is this kind of thing. Lunging forward. Whoa, you can see it's very debilitating. Inhale, exhale, tuck it under, stretch the front of that. Straighten it. Exhale. Straighten it. Exhale. Straighten it. Let's introduce the arms. Arms up. Exhale, elbows back, look up. Inhale. Draw the elbows back and you look up. You're in a crescent lunge. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. All the way down. Let's bring the palms together at heart center. Knee is down. Yeah. Now we're going to twist. So we're going to take the right elbow and bring the right elbow. So the right elbow is traveling across and it's hooking over the left knee. Now what often happens is, look at that. The knee's starting to collapse in and the foot's collapsing in. So I want to push that knee against the back of the right elbow, and then I twist around. When you're twisting, you want to keep the thumbs here rather than here, where you're just leaning in. What I'm doing here, you can see again, I'm falling over. I'm just leaning in, and there's not really anything happening here, to be honest, as opposed to here. This is where I'm really twisting the ribs. I'm moving this area around here. that waistline, so I'm twisting, I'm getting into it, and then I'm hooking the elbow, and then I'm keeping the thumbs here. And then there's the option to lengthen that leg back. Now, when you take that knee off, what you don't want to do is end up doing this, that tip forward again, where you're sort of like that. And then you lose the whole technique of the elbow outside the knee. Lengthen the leg back again and power back through the heel and rotate. 2, 3, 4, and on 5 we're going to unrotate. Frame that front foot, step straight back to plank. Let's do our chaturanga. Forward, up, back, and this time we're stepping forward with the opposite foot. The right foot goes forward, the left foot forward. Inhale, extend, exhale, fold. Inhaling up. Coming back up to that Tadasana. Shoulders are away from the ears. So this time we're going to step back with the opposite leg, which is the right leg. So I'm going to come to the top of the mat again. Inhale fully. Exhale fully. Hang on, we did step back with the right leg. We're going to step back with the left leg. Left and rights in yoga, it's a nightmare for me. Left leg back. Nice long left leg, hips level. Bending that left knee and then straightening the leg. It's great for the bum. Bend. Now you know you're doing this properly because you can really feel these glute muscles. You can really feel that stretch in the front of that hip flexor there on the left side. Again, you're very in it. And then we're going to introduce the arms up. Draw the elbows back so you're looking up. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Draw the elbows back, look up. Exhale. Inhale. This time we're going all the way down on the exhale, bringing the palms together. Inhale, exhale, rotate. Again, thumbs at the center, that elbow outside the knee and twist. Again, pushing the outside of the right knee against the back of the left elbow. I can't emphasize that enough. So that that twist happens. Without that, this kind of thing with the hands up here is not really twisting. You're just kind of leaning in and there's not really a lot of effort. Whereas here, it's a different kind of effort. You can really feel the rotation. You can feel it around that midline there. Tucking the toes under on the left leg and powering the left leg back and rotating. Breathing there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Framing the front foot, stepping back to plank, pausing there. And then that chaturanga again as you go forward and down, bending the elbows tight to the ribs. Upward facing dog. You go back over the feet and you're in downward facing dog, taking 3 breaths there. 1, 2, 3, left foot forward. That get nice and low. Right foot, full. Drop the head. Let's drop the head and relax the arms again. And then roll up. Do you see what I mean about the effort? There's so much effort in getting that technique right. Now, the next technique that we're going to do, which is part of a vinyasa sequence, often is, the jump back. Now, I always say this when we're in the studio, and it's worth saying again and again and again and again. Sometimes you come to the class and you're just not really in it, you know, you're a little bit tired, you really had to push yourself to get there, etc., etc. And other times you get there and you're like, yeah, I'm really up for this, I've got loads of energy, I'm feeling great. And that's the kind of energy that you really want to be jumping back. When you're feeling a little bit tired, the reason that I'm saying this is that when you jump back, you want all the muscles to be engaged so that you don't jump back into the lower back ends up falling down and it all gets a bit like that compressed. which do it once, you might not feel it so much, but continually practicing like that, you will start to feel it. And also, you know, when you're learning something, whether it's driving, skiing, learning the piano, yoga, vinyasas, you want to learn the right technique. You want to learn the right technique because that's how you progress and move forward. When you don't have the right technique, you're in the class and thinking, hang on a minute, I've been doing this for a year now and I still can't seem to get that jump back right. In fact, it's getting harder. So we're going to do that today. And, you know, it's good to do that, know the technique. And then maybe today you won't be able to, you'll feel like, you know what, I'm not ready for that yet. But you can learn the technique slowly at home and then eventually you'll be able to apply it in the sequence. So standing at the top of the mat again, we're going to do it slowly at first and then we'll speed it up to the speed. Inhaling up, exhale, fold. Inhale, extend, exhale, fold. Palms are down. So to jump back, you want to bend the knees. Inhale back, lower it down. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. I'm going to jump to the front of the mat now. Inhale, extend, exhale, fold, inhale up. So when we were doing that, you could see that you're jumping back very still and strong. I'm going to do it one more time. We're going to do it together. And just repetitive practicing. I was watching Iyengar this morning and he was saying about the show that he's doing. He said, I'm just showing you. But when you do it at home, you can slow it down and repeat it hundreds of times to get it right. So up the top of the mat, inhale, open, exhale, fold, inhale, extend, fold, hands down, lower it, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. And from that downward facing dog, let's bring the knees down, sit the seat back to child's pose, and then roll over and come to the feet facing forward. We're just going to finish off now with a nice calming twist. And with that twist, bringing the knees into the chest. Then wrap the arms around, bring the forehead into the knees. And you're going to relax the left hand to the floor, and the right hand is going to bring the knees to the floor on the right side, and you're going to turn and look to the left. Let's take 5 breaths here. Inhale and exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's bring the knees through center, and they're going to go to the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Bring the knees through center. Roll up. And we're there. Feel free to lie down and enjoy a nice shavasana if you feel like it, or come into a seat position and practice your meditation, whatever way that you like to end asana practice. But I encourage you to repeat this video again and again and again and again, and look at those techniques. You know, and you can press pause. They're very simple techniques, they're quite succinct. They all make sense, and if they don't make sense, feel free to tell me in the comments they don't make sense. And I hope to see you again in a studio class. I teach all around London, or at an event. Our next sound bath event is in the 26th of March. The tickets are on my website. It's a very special sound bath. Or summer retreats or summer retreats. Next retreat in May in Portugal, a women's only retreat, and of course our amazing annual detox in Ibiza. It's fantastic, both fantastic.